Hi everyone, my name is Yana. I'm 30 years old and I have Hodgkin's lymphoma. So, my goal with making this channel is basically to document my whole process and offer help for those that may be going through the same thing or may know someone with Hodgkin's that's going through the same thing. So, as I was in the process of getting to my diagnosis, which kind of took a while, I found myself, looking for information online, wherever, and that was good. But what I found most helpful was watching videos of people that had Hodgkin's talking about their experiences. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos, so thank you to all those that came before me and posted those. I found them so incredibly helpful. And even now, after getting the diagnosis, I'm still watching a lot of them and still finding them to be so helpful because there's a lot of unknowns, and it can be scary. And so it's so nice to see that there's other people just like you that are going through the same thing and they're doing it, and I just thought that I'm in a position now that I can also do the same thing and help others. So that is my plan for this YouTube channel. So I want to make a video after each chemo session that I do and talk about how it was, as well as any other miscellaneous lymphoma topics that I think of. So to give a little bit of background about me, so the way I came about finding out was I had a swollen lymph node right above my clavicle here, and it was pretty palpable. It felt kind of big, so I made an appointment with my doctor. It had been there for weeks and wasn't going away. So when I saw him, he ordered that I get it ultrasounded and biopsied. So I did that, and I had a core needle biopsy done. So that is just local anesthetic, so it doesn't hurt, but they poke the mass with a needle and take out little pieces of sample. And that was kind of a weird experience because they need to poke it several times in and out. And I remember the radiologist had trouble actually getting the needle into the lymph node. It was, I guess, very, very firm. So he was like putting a bunch of pressure on my neck and it's not even going in there, and that was kind of weird, but eventually he got it. So anyway, so they got maybe 5 or so samples that were sent off to lab. So then within a week, the results came back, and the results said highly suspicious for Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is kind of a weird answer because it's not really an answer per se. So that just left me very confused and hopeful also that it's not actually, lymphoma. Maybe it's just inflamed, or they couldn't quite tell what it is, but maybe it's still something that's not so bad. But in order to get a definitive diagnosis, I needed to have the whole lymph node removed and then biopsied. So that's where that scar is from. So that was a full surgery with general anesthesia, which was the first surgery I've ever had. So that was also frightening, but luckily it went well, and the lymph node was removed. It was 5 centimeters, and that was sent off again for lab testing. That result took over a week for me to get back. So I was pretty worried, stressed, but also kind of, I remember, like, I just thought, you know, I'll just wait until they call me, because I kind of had this suspicion already that, you know, it's going to be confirmed, and I kind of didn't want to get upset about it. But eventually, over a week later, I did get a call from the oncologist that I chose to see, and he said that now it is a definitive diagnosis for Hodgkin's lymphoma. So that's how I got here. Then, of course, I knew that I have to have chemo to treat this, but prior to being able to start, there's a bunch of other stuff that you have to do. So I'm actually going to just make a whole new video on that, kind of the pre-chemo preparation stuff. But that's just a little intro. In terms of other symptoms, now when I think back, I do remember having night sweats sometimes, like on and off. They would kind of go away on their own. So I don't know if that really counts. And I also had itchy, rashy skin, which can be a symptom. Sometimes I would break out in rashes, and my skin would itch, and sometimes I remember on my legs, like the bottom half of my legs, they would just itch. I would just scratch and scratch and scratch, or like in the shower, just loofah, 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 loofah. You would think it hurts, but it didn't hurt. It just, it was just so itchy. So those were the only other symptoms I guess I had, but the main thing was noticing the lymph node. That's that. So stay tuned for future videos, and see you guys later. Bye.